The Kano Riot of 1953, a turning point in Nigeria's quest for unity. In the sweltering month of May 1953, the bustling city of Kano, a prominent trading hub in northern Nigeria, erupted into a deadly riot that would forever alter the trajectory of Nigeria's journey toward independence. What began as a political dispute in Lagos escalated into an ethnic and regional conflict, exposing the deep divisions within the country and sowing seeds of mistrust that would linger for decades. The 1950s were a period of intense political negotiation in Nigeria, as regional leaders debated the terms of the country's impending independence from British colonial rule. The three major regions, Northern, Western and Eastern, were dominated by their respective ethnic groups, the Hausa Fulani in the north, the Yoruba in the west, and the Igbo in the east. Each group had its own vision for Nigeria's future, and tensions often flared in the halls of power. The seeds of the conflict were sown on March 31, 1953, when Chief Anthony Enahoro, a member of the Action Group, AG, from the Western region, moved a motion in the Federal House of Representatives advocating for Nigeria's self-governance by 1956. This proposition was met with resistance from the Northern People's Congress, NPC, led by the Sardauna of Sokoto, Alhaji Ahmadu Bello, who proposed an amendment seeking independence as soon as practicable, reflecting the North's apprehension about the South's rapid push towards autonomy. He argued that the North was not yet ready for self-governance. Their position angered Southern politicians, who viewed it as a betrayal of the independence movement. The debates in Lagos were heated, but it was in Kano, far from the political center, that the repercussions would be felt most acutely. The Southern representatives, perceiving the amendment as a deliberate stalling tactic, staged a walkout. The situation escalated when Northern delegates, upon returning to their hotels in Lagos, were subjected to jeers and humiliation by Southern crowds. This incident intensified Northern grievances and set the stage for further conflict. Tensions reached a boiling point when members of the Action Group, led by Chief Obafemi Awolowo, embarked on a nationwide tour to rally support for their self-government agenda. On May 16, 1953, the AG delegation arrived in Kano, a stronghold of northern political power. Their presence was viewed with suspicion by NPC supporters, who interpreted it as an intrusion into their territory and an affront to northern pride. A scuffle broke out during a rally, with NPC supporters and AG loyalists exchanging heated words. What started as a war of words quickly escalated into violence as mobs took to the streets, armed with machetes, sticks, and stones. The situation spiraled out of control, and by nightfall, the city was engulfed in chaos. Over the next 2 days, Kano descended into anarchy. Ethnic and political rivalries fueled the violence, with Southerners, particularly Igbos and Yorubas, targeted by enraged mobs. Homes, shops and vehicles were set ablaze, and hundreds were attacked in the streets. The police, overwhelmed by the scale of the unrest, struggled to restore order. By the time the British colonial authorities intervened with military reinforcements, the damage was done. Official reports put the death toll at 36, with over 270 injured, but unofficial accounts suggested the numbers were much higher. Thousands of Southerners fled Kano, leaving behind their livelihoods and dreams. The Kano riots had profound implications for Nigeria's political landscape. The NPC, expressing deep-seated grievances, issued an 8-point demand to the colonial administration, emphasizing regional autonomy and threatening to withdraw from the federal parliament in Lagos if their conditions were not met. These demands further polarized the already fragile relationship between the northern and southern regions, accelerating the push toward a federal structure that would grant significant autonomy to Nigeria's regions. The riots starkly revealed the fault lines of a nation cobbled together by colonial fiat, underscoring the lack of a shared vision for governance among its disparate ethnic and regional groups. Underlying the violence were profound differences in culture, religion, and governance philosophies. The northern region, predominantly Muslim and culturally conservative, felt outpaced and threatened by the southern regions, where Western-style education, Christianity, and a more rapid embrace of colonial modernization had taken deeper root. For many in the north, The South's push for early independence seemed like an imposition of alien values and a potential loss of political and cultural identity. On the other hand, Southern politicians viewed Northern reluctance as a deliberate obstruction to national progress. This perception fueled Southern disdain, which occasionally manifested in public insults and disdainful rhetoric, a sore point that further alienated the North. The colonial administration, recognizing the gravity of the riots, convened inquiries and sought to mediate the intensifying tensions. However, the British authorities were more concerned with maintaining order than addressing the underlying causes of discontent. Their approach largely focused on pacifying regional leaders without resolving the systemic inequalities and mistrust that plagued the Federation. The Kano Riots of 1953 were a watershed moment in Nigeria's history, exposing the precarious unity of a country whose regions were more divided than united. The event not only deepened mistrust between the North and South, but also set a precedent for ethnic and regional conflicts that would later plague Nigeria, culminating in the tragic civil war of 1967 to 1970. For many historians, the riots represented a turning point, a moment when the dream of a united Nigeria began to fracture visibly. It became clear that independence alone would not heal the divisions within the country. Deliberate efforts toward reconciliation and equitable governance were imperative but often sidelined by political expediency. As contemporary Nigeria grapples with ethnic and regional tensions, the Kano Riots of 1953 remain a cautionary tale. They remind the nation of the dangers of ignoring the voices of marginalized groups, the perils of political arrogance, and the importance of fostering mutual respect and understanding in a pluralistic society. This dark chapter in Nigeria's history continues to resonate, offering both a stark warning and a beacon of hope for a future where unity is forged not by compulsion but by genuine collaboration and respect for diversity. The Kano Riots were not merely a historical blip. They were a manifestation of the deeper struggles for identity, power, and autonomy that have shaped Nigeria's trajectory. To build a truly united nation, the lessons of 1953 must remain at the forefront of national consciousness, guiding efforts toward inclusivity and justice in a complex and richly diverse society. Please like, share, and follow or subscribe to this page for more. Thank you.